Hi, I'm Vicky Couchman. I'm with Magda and Benjamin, my two photography students, and this is the Canon EOS landscape assignment. We're in Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia. Situated either side of the Danube, it has a mix of old and new architecture, and this is a perfect subject for our assignment, landscape photography. So a good landscape is not... Good landscapes are never just snaps, so we'll take our time to consider what we're doing. What's going to really catch our eye? When is the best time for that shot? The only way we'll get a sense of Bratislava is to get out there amongst the locals. We'll look for naturally occurring lines in the landscape, anything that draws a viewer's eye into our photographs. We'll be taking a great 16 to 35mm wide-angle lens, and Benjamin will also have a 70 to 200 zoom lens. Both will have tripods and we'll be hunting that great landscape shot day and night. The city of Bratislava is an exciting mix of medieval and modern Europe. And there's a portfolio of possibilities here for our landscape photography assignment. I've asked both Magda and Benjamin to explore the city and to find a central point of interest in their shots. Something that really draws the viewer in. This is what we mean by focal point, critical to good landscape photography. To do this, use the city's naturally occurring lines of geometry. Brilliant. Blocks of colour, light and shade, and foreground movement. A landscape often feels empty without its people. To tell a full story, you need to think about what's in focus, from just in front of the lens all the way through to the background. So I've asked Magda to aim for a maximum depth of field, setting a small aperture or as large an f-number as she can, f11 or f22 for example. This will mean a slower shutter speed, so she'll need the tripod to avoid camera shake. The tripod will help to settle her too, enabling her to think about the shot and wait for the right moment. Benjamin is more familiar with the basics and is experimenting with depth of field, angles and composition. He's using a 200mm zoom lens as well as a wide angle. To find something different in landscape, try photographing at night. Long exposures often require a tripod. But you're rewarded with very atmospheric images. Bratislava has proved an inspiring place to shoot, the people as much as the places. But remember, all good landscape photography requires a bit of planning and patience. I've had a good look at your landscape pictures taken here in Bratislava, and I've picked a few out I think we should talk about. Benjamin first. This shot works well. The balance of composition feels right, and you can see how the presence of the guy immediately brings it to life. Interesting, though, to compare it to the same shot you took without the guy. It feels empty by comparison. This is interesting. You've found a good vantage point, and the angle and scale really evokes the thousands of lives here, even though you don't see anyone. This is classic. You found a really strong frame, and have obviously waited for it to be filled exactly as you wanted. It tells a lovely story. It's good to see that you experimented here. You've zoomed throughout a long exposure, and the result is compelling. The flares here just fill in a dark area nicely. I like it. Again, it's important to experiment here, and you have. And this works because you have a balance of movement and stillness. Good result. Now, on to Magda. This is quite good compositionally. It's got a good movement, but I think you need to use these angles really selectively. They can work, but you have to ask yourself why. This one successfully answers the brief. I get a real sense of the new buildings framed through the old foreground railings, and you found the lighting and texture really well. This is a lovely image, and you've caught it at that magical time of the night. But you do need to watch your focus. Check it all the way through the depth of the shot, and you'll have a much fuller story. That's the great thing about, kind of really... I think this is your best shot. It exudes confidence. You've picked your street and waited for this man to hit exactly the right space and light. Really nice, and not easy to get. To finish, a nighttime shot. Nice graphic composition, you've experimented with exposure, and it works. Cool.
Really well.
Thanks, both of you.
Let's go.
It really feels like we've explored this city. On to the next assignment.
Keep exploring photography with Canon EOS.